PICPOQET Episode 5, Majors and Minors. You're all very welcome. Maybe you're a member of City Chorus or LCM Chorus, Concordia Voices, Harrow Choral Society, or a friend from another choir. Maybe we're friends that just haven't met yet. Wherever you are in the world, thank you for watching Episode 5 of this series of videos. It's open to everyone, not just middle-ranking military officers and under-18s. And there's a Daily Mail clickbait headline for you. But don't think about the army, think about the Navy and their theme song, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Please sing it. This is your vocal warm-up. Are you ready? Go. Beautiful. Let's do that as a two-part song. You and me, or you and someone else in the same room, 2 meters apart. You start. Row, row, row your boat. I'll count you in, and I'll come in on the second part and see if I can put you off. Are you ready? Go. Lovely. Let's sing that in the minor key. Are you ready? Go. Beautiful melody, isn't it? And it makes you think more about what that dream might have been, or whether you really were merrily, merrily. When I was learning music, I was told that major was the happy one, minor was the sad one. But it's more subtle than that. And in fact, music has majors and minors all over the place. And that's what makes music, I think, wonderful, because it's happy and sad at the same time. So it's a real reflection of life. You will have noticed when we sang it in the minor, it was the third note up that changed. Bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, 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 ba, ba, ba. So just changing that one note in the first 5 makes a huge difference. If you sing with me, usually week by week or occasionally in workshops, you'll know exactly what's going to happen next. You're going to sing numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Numbers 1 up to 5, down to 1, go. Now minor, go. Now, major on the way up, minor on the way down. Unaccompanied, go. Just do that again with the piano, just to double check what you sang, and. Lovely, and now, minor on the way up, major on the way down. Ready, go. Just checking, let's double check. That's the hardest, I think, of all of them. Seems slightly less natural. We'll investigate more of that later on. It's very effective, isn't it, when something changes from the major to the minor. How strange the change from major to minor, as it says in the song. Or as in the Mozart horn concerto. Ba bum bum ba, ba bum ba ba. I found my horn, Gorn, isn't it? Flanders and Swan. Or as in the roaring traffic's boom, in the silence of my lonely room. It's an appropriate song for these days. It never works quite as well the other way round. If you go straight from the minor into the major, César Franck is a great composer, but he did write this. Seems almost a bit banal, just changing that soon from one to the other. There's an anecdote I've heard from fellow organist choir masters about a wedding couple, choosing their music, going through the list of what they wanted. said, oh, on Spotify we've had this lovely piece by Bird, Ave Verum Corpus. It's much slower than that and more beautiful than that in real life, but you may well have sung that piece. Ave Verum Corpus, I should have said. Shouldn't I, rather than Verum Corpus? We discussed that in the last video. Anyway, the wedding couple said, oh, we really like it, but it's a bit sad because it's in the minor key. Could the choir sing it in the major key? Almost so bad it's good, though. I think there might be potential in that rewriting. Anyway, it's the third note up that makes all the difference. Can we add another number to our scale? Can we add 6 to the mix? Major scale. Why don't you just hum that, but think of the numbers while you sing. And now, in the minor, go. So you may have found it's not just the third note up that changes, but the 6th as well. But here is where it gets really interesting, because it still works if you leave the 6 in its higher major key position, a major 6th we call it. If you're Vaughan Williams, you would do a lot of that. So it's a minor 6th and then, the minor 3rd and the major 6th. And then we have an option with 7 as well. So actually, minor scales, there is not just one set minor scale, there are different ones. Let's investigate a few. Let's have a new starting note. So let's go up the minor scale. It's always low on note 3. Ba, ba, ba. That is what changes the valency of the scale, yeah, from major to minor. And let's do a high 6 and a high 7. So that's a major 6th and the major 7th. Sing the numbers up to 8. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely. Now sing a low 6 and a low 7. Go. That's a beautiful scale, isn't it? Now let's do a high 6 and a low 7. Go. Also beautiful. And the only other remaining combination must be a low 6, a minor 6th, and a major 7th, a high 7. Go. There's now quite a gap, isn't there, between 6 and 7. Mind the gap. That's what we call the harmonic minor scale, because it's the basis of the harmonies that we would build on those notes. If I put it down into a different key, or if we remember that harmony is driven by the bass, so that's the foundation of our harmony. By the way, if you just leave the bass part on one note and move the rest of the chord, you get this. What a great song that is. The melodic minor scale is a really wonderful thing because it's different on the way up as it is on the way down. And that's just like our exercise when I made you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but choosing different 3s. This time it's the 6 and 7s that are different. All at 6s and 7s, we won't be. that is such a, that is in itself a lovely melody. So although those wouldn't be the notes we base our chords on, that's often what we sing in a melodic way, in a cantabile way. And because early music is much more melodic than harmonic, that's a huge generalization, that explains why in early music, I'm talking about composers like Tallis, you get a lot of what we call false relations, because as different parts are going up and down the scale, they're doing different versions of the notes. For example, let's have a melody that goes, put that into a two-part context. Piano, it sounds quite harsh. When it's sung, especially a cappella, it's just the most beautiful, sonorous thing, even though we're coming through quite hard dissonances. It's also the basis of super jazz chords like "You are the light of the world." Yeah, Godspell. Yeah, that's a chord with a major third and a minor third at the same time. Really, really it's fantastically alive and full of spice. Anyway, why is the melodic minor different on the way up as it is on the way down? Because it's sort of more natural when you sing it, or even when you play it. If you imagine something like a Vivaldi violin concerto, there's all this kind of super fast scales going up and down. That doesn't work quite as well if I play these notes. I don't think. Ya ba 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 bum. You come down the slide on the low option, you go up the ladder. It's snakes and ladders, isn't it? Up the ladder on the high option, as in this one by Haydn. Name that tune. You get 1 point for Insane et vane cure. You get 3 points for Svanisce, which was the original text. So he wrote it for this oratorio that hardly anyone does. And then it was later taken out as a standalone piece, and most choirs sing it as Insane. LCM, we were about to perform it as Svanisce. But then everything was cancelled. So yeah, in that example, we're going up the high 6 and the high 7. It doesn't quite sound quite so fiery and exciting if I play a low 6 and a low 7, right? So it's a way of sort of heightening the experience of those notes as we go up and down the scale. So let's sing that scale together. The melodic minor. Let's hum it. I mean, just that scale on its own is a beautiful piece of music, I think. And surely it was the inspiration for this ostinato. Ostinato is just a repeating pattern of notes. Amazingly beautiful. You know it? If you don't know it, you absolutely must listen to the Britain War Requiem. It's the second best piece of music ever written. We sang Row, Row, Row Your Boat earlier on. Can we sing it in the major and the minor as a canon? Of course we can. Of course we can. Now, if we were to sing it simultaneously, you'd get a really groovy, really really bitey Stravinsky type harmony. But what about if we just have one part starting in a different key, or I should say a different starting note? So the major starts there, the minor starts there. We call that the relative minor actually because they are using the same notes, it's just we're starting in a different place. D major, B minor. So could you sing row, row, row your boat? You sing the major key version, I'll play the minor key version 2 beats after you start, and I'll see if I can put you off. Are you ready? Go. Row, row. And now let's change roles. So I'll play the major key. You're going to sing row, row, row your boat. That's your first note, and you're going to stay in the minor key. You're going to come in 2 notes after me. Are you ready? Go. Life is but a dream. You can do that with quite a few songs, actually. Three Blind Mice. Sing Three Blind Mice in the minor key. 3 blind mice. So a lament for the 3 blind mice. Although they might have escaped, I don't think it's necessarily a requiem. Sing 3 blind mice in the minor key. 2, ready, go. 3 blind mice. See how they run. Did you find you had options? Or even four different ways you could do that. For the purposes of this exercise, if I can encourage you to sing what we call the more modal version, the Vaughan Williams interpretation. That will work this way. I think if the minor key starts and so on, yeah, let's try. So your choice, or if there's 2 of you watching, you can do this as a duet. If you want to sing both parts, all you need to do is rewind the video and choose the other option. So the first voice of our 2-part invention is going to go 3 blind mice, and the second part is going to go 3 blind mice, and there's the time difference is just 2 beats. 3 blind mice. So choose either of those tunes, either of those keys. Are you ready? Go. Once again, the keys were in alignment. We were using the same key signature if we were going to write that down, because the major key, E flat in this case, and C minor in this case share the same number of sharps and flats, although of course usually when we sing in a minor key we get more interesting things because of the differences on notes 6 and 7. However, we can also sing that song in 2 more different keys, if you know what I mean. If we let the major key start and bring in the second part in a higher minor key. See what's going on there? They don't agree quite as much. It's a sort of very simple example of polytonality, when one part is in a different key from another. And if you're really into that, listen to some Bartók and Messiaen. So let's have a sing of this as a duet. Duet you and me, or duet in your room, or record yourself and duet with yourself. The first part that comes in is a major key, 3 blind mice. The second part comes in 3 blind mice. So it's that key against that key. First part in the major, second part in the minor. Choose your part. Are you ready? Go. So many possibilities opening out there already, just from a very simple tune, mixing up different versions of majors and minors. One final thought to leave you with. The whole octave, as we investigated when we did chromatics, is made up of 12 semitones, 12 separate notes. Now, in our major and minor scales, there are 7 notes, aren't there? Because note 8 is the same as note 1. 1, 8. So how do we divide 12 into 7? Well, it's because we're using different combinations of tones and semitones. In the major key, it's tone, 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 semitone, tone, tone, tone. In the melodic minor, it's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So another way of thinking of it is just, where you place your combination of tones and semitones. That's a different approach, other than just giving it numbers and giving them high thirds and low thirds, major sixth, minor sixth. If you take the first 3 notes of a major scale, the 1, 2, 3, or the do re mi, A, B, C, easy as ba, ba, ba. Reset, new starting place, wa, ba, ba. Reset, do, re, mi. You'll find, well, of course, that's 6 tones, isn't it? 6 tones has got to be the same as 12 semitones. That is your whole tone scale. Hum it. Hum it on the way down. Beautiful, beautiful possibilities in that completely symmetrical selection of notes, beloved by Debussy and the Impressionists, and also by Play School and Going Through the Round Window, and in the world of improv comedy, as soon as an actor says, "That reminds me, I was 4 years old," and we do a flashback scene. If you take the first 3 notes of a minor scale, 1, 2, 3, reset, 1, 2, 3, reset, 1, 2, 3, reset, 1, 2, 3. We have another symmetrical one, which is called the octatonic scale. It's one of the best scales there is. Another way of describing it is the first 4 notes of a minor scale, upper semitone, upper semitone. Hum that one, please. We'll have a bit more fun with those intervals in video number 7. So many possibilities in that. Another way of thinking of it is tone, semitone, tone, semitone, tone, semitone. So it's a big step up, a small step, a big step, a small step, like a flight of stairs that alternates large steps and small steps. Cardboard box. So if you're a interval harmony nerd like me, you just don't get tired of that one. Hum that fun, the octatonic scale, tone, semitone, humming, and. Beautiful, well done, well sung. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Arthur, my producer. Video number 6 will be Pergolesi Stabat Mater, first movement. Beautiful. This one has been very much music theory, and next time it'll be very much singing the music. Don't worry about getting hold of a copy, because I'm actually going to put an edition of the music that will appear on screen, so you can just read the notes from the screen while you sing. So Pergolesi Stabat Mater next time, and episode 7 will be more fun with intervals. I leave you. I've got a letter from Mrs. Trellis, North Wales Choral Society. Dear Mr. Rutter, I hope she gets my name right one day. As well as enjoying your choral music, I love the theatre. Every year, the North Wales Amateur Dramatic Society puts on a major production of one of Shakespeare's plays. But I've noticed they all follow the same formula. In Act 1, only the women appear on stage. In Act 2, it's only the men who we hear. In Act 3, men and women all appear, but the men don't have any words. In Act 4, half of the cast stand on one side of the stage and the other half on the opposite side. And then in Act 5, the whole stage rises up a few inches and everyone says their lines together, though this does sound a bit similar to Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 and Act 4. But it's very enjoyable nonetheless. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Trellis. I don't know why she keeps writing to me about these things. Last week I asked, how does a soprano change a light bulb? She takes hold of it and waits for the world to revolve around her. For next time, can you tell me how many choir seating plan subcommittees does it take to change a light bulb?